Welcome to Nourish with Michelle Fox, your guide to living a vibrant life after 40. If you have ever struggled with consistency in your self-care or felt confused about how to truly support your body during this season of life, you are in the right place, my friend. Over this 8-part series, you'll hear inspiring, educational, and real conversations designed to help you nourish your mind, body, and soul so you can feel strong, confident, and fully alive. I am thrilled to share this 8-part series with my guest expert, Kimberly Cunningham. Kimberly is a board-certified nurse practitioner who has been serving Colorado for over 20 years. She brings a wealth of experience from emergency medicine to internal medicine to healthy aging clinics. And she's the founder of Cunningham Clinic. After recovering from a life-changing injury through hormone replacement therapy, Kimberly has dedicated her career to helping people look and feel better through functional medicine and aesthetics. She's also a published author, a faculty member at multiple universities, and a national trainer for Biote Medical and Allergan Aesthetics. Her passion shines through in every patient she serves. And before we dive in, I want to share an important note. I personally seek treatment from Kimberly at Cunningham Clinic, but nothing in these conversations is meant to diagnose or treat you. Please consult your own provider before making any medical decisions. So, let's talk about what it really takes to thrive in this chapter of life. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we are talking about something that I feel like I talk about at least once a month in my circle of girlfriends, and that is medical gaslighting, particularly with women of color. And we're going to hopefully break that down today. But before I get too dramatic and in all my feelings, because I do get my feelings hurt when doctors like brush me off and tell me it's in my head, and I've got years of history of this happening. Can you just tell us, like, in the simplest form, like, what does medical gaslighting even mean?
So, gaslighting itself is a term that came out of a play that became a movie where the husband kept turning down the lights, kept turning down the gas in the lights. So she progressively kept thinking something is wrong. And that was part of how he was psychologically torturing her. So, gaslighting now is used as a term for when someone is trying to pull one over on you or manipulate you and tell you a lie wrapped up in some truth. So it's very murky and it's hard to tease out. But what they're trying to do is to get you to do something you wouldn't otherwise normally do, or to get you to think in a way that you wouldn't normally think in. So that's the term gaslighting today as it's used currently. But in medicine, it's when you go to a board certified whatever.
They've got all their certificates on the
on
wall. Yes.
And you know something is wrong. You can feel something is wrong. There was a before when you felt good, and now there is an after when you don't feel good. And they say, you're fine.
Yes.
And they say, you've made this up. And so the problem is the way that you are thinking about it. That's where it's gaslighting you, because they're trying to get you to think in a way that doesn't match your physiology. So when you are in a disease state or condition, there are physiological measures so we can prove it. If that doctor doesn't know those physiological measures or how to interpret them or how to even check for them, and they say, oh, you're fine, then the only default is it must be mental.
Yes, it's all in my head.
That is the essence of medical gaslighting. And so you'll see women, I've gained weight, I have this or that symptom, and we'll get into a few case studies. And the solution won't be, let me get more labs, let me do some more diagnostics. The solution will be, would you like an antidepressant?
Yes. Or
that's
some
not appropriate.
painkillers.
Right.
So,
No, actually, women don't get painkillers.
Oh, okay.
So let's break
Tell
down
me
the
more.
data.
I know. I'm like, because normally I'm just, or in the past, I should say, when I was bleeding, I had really bad periods. And so the doctor would be like, just take Advil. I'm like, is there anything more? Take more Advil. I'm like, not helpful.
What's really unhelpful is men and women of color are more likely to go into kidney insufficiency or kidney disease or kidney failure. NSAIDs like Advil, NSAID stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory so drug. So an NSAID like Aleve, Advil, ibuprofen, they're all in the same class. That has to be metabolized through the kidney. And it's
know
hard for the
that.
kidney to metabolize that. So the more
Ugh.
NSAIDs you take, the more kidney damage you are causing.
Oh my word.
And because of your Fitzpatrick's type, so Fitzpatrick is 1 through 6. 1 is going to be red hair, freckles, always burns, and 6 is going to be like seal.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Dark,
Love
dark,
beautiful
gorgeous,
man.
dark skin. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And everybody in between.
Okay.
So I'm a Fitzpatrick 2, maybe a 3.
Okay.
Because I burn then tan. Sometimes I can tan before I burn.
Okay.
So you would be a 4, 5. You'd be a 5.
Makes
And
sense.
so the higher your Fitzpatrick number, the more likely you are to have kidney insufficiency.
Oh.
Now, is that bias and poor diagnostics and later interventions? Is that you have a doctor telling you to take Advil all the time without telling you it could also fry your kidneys?
Yeah, I had no idea.
So there's a lot of bias. When you look at the National Institutes of Health and you look at the collection of studies that they have accumulated over medical bias in the last 5 years alone, it's very ugly. And so when you look at cardiovascular disease, women are diagnosed years later than men.
And that's across all races.
All races.
Yes.
Women in general are diagnosed years later than men. Women have poorer outcomes related to their male counterparts. White men are diagnosed the earliest.
Interesting.
And then white women tie with men of color.
Interesting.
And then women of color are last.
And that sounds like there's scientific research to prove that this is happening.
One of the studies is 131,000 critical care visits that were reviewed for racial bias, and it was endemic across all visits.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. Why do you think that is? Like, are doctors just assuming that Black women are stronger? Are they assuming that we don't matter? Like,
that's $1 million question.
Right. I'm like, I matter.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Women matter. Women of color matter. Everybody matters.
We all matter.
I read a great little meme, and I don't know who wrote it originally. It said, "How do you care for others?" And the guru said, "There are no others."
Oh, that just gave me goosebumps.
Somebody posted that. That was amazing.
Oh, that is perfect. There are no others. We're all in this together.
Now, there are some things that are different that we can't explain. And so when we look at the National Institutes of Health data sets and all these different studies for medical bias, we know that it exists. Women are deemed histrionic.
What does that mean?
Hysterical.
Oh gosh. Okay.
A hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus. So it was believed that women's emotions came from their uterus.
Oh, interesting.
And one of the ways that you could cure hystericalism or hysteria was to take out the uterus and the ovaries.
More goosebumps. That sounds like some Dr. Freud shit.
There have been movies made about this. Maggie Gyllenhaal was in a great movie about this. I can't remember the name of it. Years ago, where women had to fight to not have hysterectomies because there was no consent if your husband or your doctor said you had it.
Let's just calm down her crazy.
So women are called
body parts.
Histrionic. There's actually a diagnosis code for histrionics.
Oh, wow.
There's not one for men. Men can be emotionally labile. Men can be all of these things, but histrionics is unique for women.
Interesting.
So it's built into the system.
Yeah.
And then here's where it gets really interesting. And I could keep going over all the data. There's so much data that's very clear that even today in 2025, at the taping of this episode, medical bias against women and against people of color is rampant. It is absolutely a thing. And now we are building AI systems to help us diagnose and treat. Those systems are based on the people building them.
Which are typically white men, I would imagine.
Even the white women, even white women doctors have the same racial bias across studies. I'm not saying that every single one has racial bias, but recognizing that the bulk of the care providers in the United States are racially biased and gender biased should give us all pause when we are creating artificial intelligence systems to dictate future care, because AI is very good at learning.
Yes.
Very good at learning.
Quick. Yes.
Including learning bias. So people think, it'd be great. A computer will do it because a computer doesn't have bias. A computer is just zeros and ones. It's black and white. Nope. That computer is learning language and the use of language, including slang, including bias. What are the rules? So the rules are written by the people who are doing the writing.
Yes.
So
Another.
it's not something I think that is going to go away anytime soon, which that's the bad news. There is some good news in that once you understand something is there, you can work with it. Just like with your spouse, understanding there's ways that you're going to disagree.
Of course.
And there's things that aren't going to go smoothly every single time. But when you understand this is his hot button, this is her hot button, this is their hot button, these are the buttons.
No, we're very clear on our buttons in my marriage.
You can work around them.
Yes.
So you know they're there.
Try.
You can't change who that person is, nor do you want to.
No.
That's the one you picked.
Absolutely.
But understanding that there is going to be some disconnect is fine. So recognizing that the bias is there and it's awful, I can't fix that, but I can arm people with some language that is helpful. So that's what I want to do here today. So first is just recognizing that this bias exists. Some of it's actually interesting. When it comes to high blood pressure, we know that if you give African-American males a medication in a class called the calcium channel blockers, they do great.
Oh, good news.
And I give a calcium channel blocker to an older woman of Northern European descent. So an older white woman, her legs will swell like crazy. She's going to get all this edema.
Interesting.
Now it's not fix her blood pressure, but now giving her a problem.
Interesting.
And we don't know why. That's a little different. So there are some medications that tend to work better in groups than others. We don't always know why, but that's just good medicine. There are things that work better for women than men and vice versa. That's just good medicine. Understanding that certain tools are better in certain groups than others is just good differentiation. Well, that's not bias.
We love you because you pay attention. I think I've said in every episode, like, I love that you read the labs, like, with a fine-tooth comb. And that's why I feel so protected in your care.
I don't trust anybody. I got to make sure.
That might be the case. And that's why I sent all my friends to you. And as soon as you said edema, I'm like, ding, ding. Because I have one girlfriend, African-American, around our age. And she does swell up. And her doctors have told her, just take more diuretics. And
in Colorado?
She's here in Colorado. Yeah. So my question, because obviously she's not here, and then I'm sure there's other things that you could diagnose looking at her panel, but could that be hormone related? Like, could hormones help her with some of that?
Perhaps.
Okay.
So when we look at age-related high blood pressure, so your blood pressure goes up in response to certain conditions. One of them is a loss of testosterone. And women lose testosterone between age 35 and 40 on average. Men don't lose their testosterone until closer to 50, which is why they age slower than we do in those 15 years.
That's so not fair.
It just is.
But all right. We have tools now to get us back to.
So if testosterone falling was part of the cascade that caused the high blood pressure, I can usually get the blood pressure under better control by replacing what's lost. Okay. Low vitamin D equals a poor immune response. So it just depends on what else is going on in the body. Much of guidelines are global. So if you look at, for blood pressure, the first thing we're going to do is give hydrochlorothiazide, which is a diuretic. Well, that's fine in Florida when it's 100% humidity, 100% of the time. Yeah. But we're lucky if we hit 17% humidity on a day. And if you're going to pull water off of a woman to get her blood pressure down in Colorado, you've just created another medical diagnosis called dehydration.
Oh gosh.
So now with dehydration comes dizzy spells, orthostatic hypotension, where she stands up, all the blood goes to her feet, she passes out, or she gets dizzy.
That would make sense. Yeah.
And so that's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So we don't want to reach for a tool that is not environmentally appropriate either. So I don't mind a diuretic, but I got to be really careful with one in a dry climate like Colorado. We'll see. I see people all the time. They've moved to Colorado from Florida or Texas or Louisiana. And they're just basically swimming through the air, and they're on a host of medications that were fine there. Maybe. I also don't love a diuretic because it's making the kidneys work harder.
And you
we
just
need
told
our
us
kidneys to last 100 years
in particular.
And if a woman of color, so I really don't want to diurese her, which is pulling water off. Yeah. Because I already know she's a higher risk of kidney insufficiency or failure. And so what can I do that's better than that? And there's lots of tools that are better. That's one thing that I wouldn't choose based on her race-based risks, as well as where she lives. You just wouldn't
Oh, I
choose
love
that in Colorado.
because it never occurred to me that environment plays a factor in
It all
all this, but it makes so much sense.
Everything matters when you're
Mm.
taking care of another human.
Mm.
It all matters.
Yes, yes, it does.
So when we talk about medical gaslighting and medical bias, you asked me to share a couple stories.
Yes, please.
So I'll share one.
Okay.
We'll call her Mary. That is not her name.
Okay. It's very recent.
No, Mary's been my patient for, gosh, 10 years now.
Amazing. Okay.
So when Mary first came to me, she had gained 20, 25 pounds. Her hair was falling out in clumps, and she has a very thick, gorgeous head of hair. It is one of her identifiers. She just loves having this big, thick, whopping head of hair.
Of course.
It's her
I
thing.
would feel that way too.
And so she comes in, and she'd always been very fit, and she had put on 20, 25 pounds. She had a relationship with an endocrinologist. Endocrinologist is thyroid and other hormones outside of sex hormones. That's what they do.
Okay.
Endocrinology, like your thyroid doctor.
Okay.
And she'd been on Synthroid, which is a synthetic T4 molecule for
heard about that.
years and years, and it worked fine.
And is she 40s, 50s?
At this time, she was 39.
Okay.
When I met her, she was 39.
Okay.
And she was a mess. And she had recently been offered an antidepressant, and she was just beside herself. She's like, well, I think I'm depressed now because I've gained all this weight. My hair is falling out. But she wasn't depressed when these symptoms started.
Interesting.
So that was curious. And her doctor had agreed to give her a little bit more thyroid medication, and that just made things worse. And so now they were taking it away and lowering the dose. And she just was adamant that this was a thyroid issue. And I said, let me check some more labs. So traditionally in the United States, they check one lab called the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And that's the brain telling your thyroid in your neck, make more T4. But then out in your body, you have to cut that T4 down into active T3. You have to add some ferritin, which you get from iron, to it. And that's how you get it into the cell to work.
Okay.
So the only thing they checked on her was a TSH. And so
no, there's all these other parts that matter over here.
No idea. That tells me her thyroid's probably pumping out enough T4, but is the system even working? So I got all the rest of the labs that I get. She was not converting T4 to T3, and she didn't have enough iron in her body to even get the free T3 into the cell. Now, normally a free T3 should be run around 4.0, but I'm okay with 3.5 to 4.2, depending on how she's feeling.
Okay.
That's the most important vital sign. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Yes. I think that's what you told me when I first started working with you. Yeah.
So I was able to show her on the labs that it was Armageddon when it came to her thyroid system, and that Synthroid worked great when she was younger because she made enough of the rest of the pieces of that system to support it.
Yeah.
So there's some enzymes in there called deiodinases, and there's a little bit more to it, and I'd need a whiteboard to go through it, but it's pretty easy to check.
Okay.
Are these systems working? And they weren't. So I just switched to medication. By the way, her testosterone was fine. I did check that as well.
Love it.
But at 39, her testosterone was fine. It was therapeutic. So all I did was switch her from a T4 only medication to a medication that's a combination of T4 and T3, because that's what you need at the cellular level. It was a very simple switch.
Sense to me.
Her endocrinologist called me yelling.
Of course.
And said, I don't believe in that medication. I'm like, okay, the FDA and all of Europe does. So does Canada, Mexico, and I think Nigeria has approved it as well. So you don't have to believe in the medication, but even the American Thyroid Society believes in the medication. That's okay. I don't need to convince you. You're not my doctor. And he said, I'm not going to see her anymore if she takes that medication.
Interesting. I got very defensive.
I think that's going to be okay. Because she had already shared with me she was never going back. She thought this guy was a jerk.
He sounds like it if he's calling you. Yeah, I'm like, I think that's what second and third opinions are all about. Right. We respect each other in the medical community.
Most of my conversations with other providers are lovely and wonderful, but this particular one was interesting.
Sure.
And I thought, he'll be very excited because I got the other labs that he'd been missing, and to prove this is what her problem was. And so problem solved. Great. You can keep monitoring her. Yeah. That's not how the conversation went. And so she saw me for a while. And she lost 25 pounds and her hair grew back in. She looked like a baby bird there for a while with the
little sprouts of hair coming out.
Yeah. And her mood improved and her sleep improved and she could think her way out of a box. So her thyroid wasn't her problem wasn't that she needed an antidepressant. Her problem was the medication she'd been on for years quit working because she had aged out of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fix the medication. Now she's still my patient. because now she is 49.
Other things are happening, I imagine.
And she needs testosterone. And she's in perimenopausal estrogen dominance. So I've been helping her with that because the weight started creeping up and her thyroid was fine. But it was that estrogen dominance that we talked about in another episode. And so I was able to help her with that. She's doing great. We're checking her every 6 months. When she hits menopause and her periods actually stop, then she'll be on her new plan, and then that'll be pretty set.
I love that.
So that's just an example of when you think something is wrong, that's because something is wrong.
Yes.
And when the answers don't make sense, it's because they don't make sense. So you need to find somebody who can make sense of what is wrong.
And that's another thing that comes with gaslighting is oftentimes we start to think that we're crazy. Like we're the crazy ones because maybe Dr. 1 and Dr. 2 are saying, this is fine, you're fine, take these pills. And we're like, but I'm not sleeping at night, to your point with your client, my hair's falling out, I'm gaining the weight. Like, this is not fine.
It's not fine.
Also, I wanted to ask you with this story in particular, you mentioned she couldn't think her way out of a box. And is that, I know brain fog often comes with menopause. So is that part of it, that it's our thyroids that might be off around the menopausal time that's giving us the brain fog?
Yes. So brain fog is a symptom of which there can be many sources. One is not enough estrogen. So not enough estrogen, we talked about, can actually reduce cognitive computational capacity in women in the first 10 years after menopause. They can lose up to almost 30% the ability to compute and to take on new computational tasks. Thyroid, when it's low, also causes significant brain fog. And don't forget about the men. When the men lose their testosterone, they get horrible brain fog and they can't think. And they know they used to be able to get all of these things done in a day. And they used to be able to be highly productive and a good contributor in a team or in a work environment. And all of a sudden they just can't do it. Or if they do, it hurts. It just hurts in the brain, or they can't do it in the same amount of time. And then that steals confidence away. And maybe we lose a very valuable resource in that industry, in that company, in that group, because they stop. And so men get this as well. But in particular, men are believed, particularly white men, they are believed when they walk in the door. Women, part of the biases against women is that women have to prove it when they walk in the door. Which is a challenge. So for this particular patient, Mary, not her name, she kept looking. I was not her second or her third person. I was her fourth provider. And it was a friend who recommended her, who'd gone through something similar. But I also have people all the time that say, I love my primary care doctor. He or she orders my colonoscopy and my mammogram and does my pap smear. And I can call them when I have a sinus infection or a bladder infection, or they're just my regular doctor. But they don't do hormones. And they don't believe in hormones, maybe. They don't think women should have testosterone. So I say, that's okay. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all, and it shouldn't hurt yours. So if you have a relationship with a primary care provider or a gynecologist who doesn't want to do hormones for you or is uncomfortable, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. They can still do your pap smears and your annual exam and take care of you in other ways. And you can go to someone like me who is a hormone expert just for the hormone piece. Just like when it's time for a colonoscopy, your primary care provider is not going to do that. But they know that it's time for that, and they'll coordinate with that, with the gastroenterologist who's going to do that. So you don't have primary care providers that do everything, and hormones doesn't have to fall within their wheelhouse. Some primary care providers do hormone replacement therapy. Unfortunately, for the most part, to date, now we're working on that. I do a lot of education. To date, it is only estrogen balancing, with or without progesterone, in a woman who has a uterus. They forget that testosterone is very important for women.
Or they don't know.
So the North American Menopause Society, NAMS, and you can be NAMS certified if you're an OBGYN. So the North American Menopause Society, this is the group for us, perimenopause and postmenopausal women. These are the guidelines. Hooray, we have some champions. It took until 3 years ago for them to even say testosterone therapy for women.
But it's here though. You said 3 years. So we're 3 years in and they're like getting more curious about testosterone. So it says, North American Menopause Society says that we can consider testosterone replacement therapy in women
who are postmenopausal.
Oh,
So that's not good because we lose our testosterone 15 years before then.
I remember.
So that's
you told us around 35 it starts to fall.
So that's a little late.
Yes.
That's a long time to go without the ability to build muscles, bones, have a sex drive.
Correct.
15 years is a long time to not have a sex drive.
Correct.
I'm not doing that.
Correct. No, thank you. I'm not going back. I'm never going back.
NAMS, the North American Menopause Society, NAMS says you can consider testosterone replacement therapy in women who are postmenopausal who meet these two criteria.
Oh no, what?
And the criteria is for HSDD, hypoactive sexual desire disorder. No libido.
Oh, okay.
And to meet the diagnostic criteria for HSDD, you have to have a loss of libido for at least 6 months that you find bothersome.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
By the time menopause rolls around, you have been there for a decade.
For years, yeah, for a lot of women.
That's not acceptable.
Ridiculous.
But just in case insurance will ever cover testosterone therapy for women, which right now it doesn't, I always ask the question, do you have a reduction in libido for at least 6 months? And do you find it bothersome? And I document that on all of my patients. Because at some point, if insurance will cover testosterone for women, that would be lovely. And I would have documentation of when it started and that I initiated a treatment that was therapeutic, which is what I would need. So I'm always like, is this bothering you?
It's like, yeah. Oh, I also want to take a step back to something you said previously about women, actually doctors in specific, who perhaps don't believe in HRT and or just don't understand it or don't know it. But I have a friend in particular who, when I told her I was on HRT, she got very defensive because she recently survived a bout of cancer. And thank goodness she's fine. She's great. And she is partnered with somebody in the medical field who I imagine is still looking at those older studies that say HRT is going to give you more cancer.
There's only one.
And so for the people who are like, yeah, I'm going to get cancer if I even think about HRT, can you talk to those people, even though they might not even be listening here, but maybe a friend of theirs can tell them to please just give us another chance? Because yeah, I'll stop talking there because you're the expert, you know the ins and outs of the cancer piece. Like,
so it's one study.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
It was called the Women's Health Initiative. One of the arms of the study of the WHI that was funded by the National Institutes of Health, which is United States, looking at hormone replacement therapy in women. They looked at women who had initiated hormone replacement therapy after menopause. Okay. There were two arms to the study. One was estrogen only, wasn't human, it was from pregnant horses, different molecular structure, but okay. Pregnant horse urine.
Interesting.
So pregnant horse urine based estrogen, and that's in women who didn't have a uterus. Because when you're getting postmenopausal estrogen in any form, you need to have progesterone if you have a uterus so that endometrial lining won't get too thick. Because the good part about menopause is no tampons. So that's a good part.
Yes,
so we don't want to cause vaginal bleeding, and we don't want to cause endometrial hyperplasia, which is where it gets too thick. That could lead to cancer, endometrial cancer. Okay. But basically, people are worried about breast cancer in women, which is a high prevalence. 1 in 5 women, one in 5 women will likely get diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 5, it's a huge number right now.
It's heartbreaking.
So this was 2001, by the way, when that arm of the WHI was stopped because of a small uptick in the risk of breast cancer. The Prem-Pro arm of the study, and that was the estrogen with progesterone because those women still had a uterus. Breaking that down further, the women in the Prem-Pro arm of the study were older, had gone longer without estrogen. So when you stop having estrogen, your risk of breast cancer goes up.
Oh, that makes sense because it's a protective.
Every other study is very clear that estrogen is breast protective.
Yes.
It's either a net neutral, in which case it doesn't do anything, or it's actually breast protective. The estrogen data in every other study shows that when women are allowed to have estrogen at normal levels, their risk of breast cancer goes down by 27% or more. Their risk of invasive breast cancer, that's metastatic, it's gone someplace else and it could kill you, goes down by almost 60%.
Oh, wow.
Now, nothing will take your risk to zero. Nothing.
Sure.
But when we deprive women of estrogen, by the way, They never looked at testosterone, which is solid tumor cancer protective for men and women.
Love it.
They only got pregnant horse urine with a synthetic progesterone that may or may not actually bind to the alpha estrogen site on the female breast, causing cancer. So medroxyprogesterone acetate has been implicated and is being studied and has been studied for, does that increase the risk of breast cancer? It might. The data is murky, but they were on the wrong estrogen. It was an older group at high risk, and they were given a synthetic progesterone that might actually cause breast cancer.
Makes me so mad.
So they said, that's it. Women can't have hormones. We're going to cause breast cancer. Well, let's just for a second say that data was right. Let's just say it was 2 extra breast cancers. 2.
What do you mean?
Per 1,000 women.
Oh wow.
2.
Oh wow.
2. So let's talk about
in the numbers.
Yes. Okay, if you have a 2 in 1,000 risk of getting breast cancer by taking this medication, is that an acceptable risk if this medication will prevent Alzheimer's, heart disease, which is the #1 killer of women, bone loss, tissue degradation, brain fog, loss of ability to compute by the age of 60 that is unrecoverable if you don't restart hormones. So if you had all of those other risks, the #1 killer, which by the way, women today survive breast cancer at a huge percentage. Regular mammography early detection equals a very high survivability rate.
Love that.
So even if you get breast cancer, God forbid, you're not going to die from that. You will die of heart disease. It is the #1 killer of women. Estrogen protects you from heart disease. Bravo. So let's say that data was correct, which we've proved it was not. Would you still accept that 2 in 1,000 risk to not have all of the other bad things happen to you? Humans would totally, yes. Now that's a decision each individual needs to make.
Of course.
So then there's BRCA1 and 2 positive women, BRCA. So that's the women who get breast cancer. You see it all throughout their family. So there's BRCA1, there's BRCA2. It's breast and ovarian, high risk. What that means is on the female breast, you have alpha and beta receptor sites. So to oversimplify, we'll think of alpha as aggressive, beta as benign.
Okay.
It's not going to hurt you. BRCA1 and 2 positive women are all alpha. So they have a different physiological makeup of the breast, which puts them at a double risk or up to a double of the risk of having those receptor sites stimulated in a way that will cause cancer. We do not need to chemically castrate them. If we did,
please don't.
You would have taken away their hormones, or you would have done an ovarectomy before they ever hit puberty. If it were really the case that estrogen caused their breast cancer, you would have never let them have estrogen.
Good point.
They're at a higher risk of environmental damage causing breast cancer, not the estrogen. And so they need more surveillance. So we do mammography once a year and an ultrasound every 6 months at the opposite. So you look at them twice a year.
Beautiful.
And we do pelvic ultrasounds every few years to make sure there isn't any growth on the ovaries. So they don't need to be chemically annihilated. They just need to be monitored more.
Yes.
So it's when studies are junk, it's because they're junk. And remember, we talked about earlier, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably because it doesn't make sense. And here's why.
I love that about you. That's a Kimberly-ism. Keep them coming.
So if estrogen caused breast cancer, let's think about a pregnancy. In pregnancy, so normal ovulatory cycles, the estrogen is going to peak in the 200s maybe. In women with polycystic ovarian syndrome or estrogen dominance, we might get as high as 300. In a pregnancy, it can go as high as 4,000.
Oh, wow. That's like,
which is why your hair and your skin and your nails, everything looks so good when you're pregnant. Because you have all this estrogen, which is good for tissues. Everything's great. So if estrogen caused breast cancer, you would birth a tumor with every baby.
That's such a good point.
The more pregnancies a woman has, the earlier in life, the lower her risk of breast cancer. Because estrogen is breast protective.
There you go. She's been flooded with the estrogen.
We have known this for decades. So when this study was published in 2001, and it was like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Oh my God, that's it. We're killing all these women. Most of us were scratching our heads going, that's not what we've ever seen. That is not true. If you look at a woman who had to have a hysterectomy with ovarectomy, where they take out the ovaries, so there goes her estrogen and testosterone and progesterone, the younger in life that happens, the higher the risk of breast cancer.
Oh, wow. That makes sense because
The higher the risk of
estrogen's
Alzheimer's.
gone.
She's going to get Alzheimer's 20 years before her peers. So when you take away a woman's hormones, she's going to have heart disease, cancer, including breast cancer. She's going to have Alzheimer's, diabetes, all of these things that the things that actually kill us, she's going to have 20 or more years younger than her peers.
Gave me goosebumps. And these are all things that are preventable and things
100%.
that we can supplement with HRT.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the WHI, when that whole bomb went off and all of us were saying, do you guys know how to read? That's not how you would do inferential statistics. Plus they used the wrong statistical model. And
oh, wow.
Oh yeah, there's
so
so much wrong.
That's a hot mess. Yes.
And what about all these other studies? Did we just forget to read? Because we can read lots of other sources of information. It was very odd. And then
yes,
2023.
Okay.
Retraction.
The WHI did?
Retraction.
Really?
Oops, sorry, we were wrong.
So 20 years later? Oh my word.
Do you know how long it took for mainstream media to publish?
Kimberly.
2 years.
Ah.
And it was in the New Yorker, and it was this tiny little WHI retracted little thing.
No.
Nothing.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
Women do not get to walk into an exam room with the benefit of being believed. We walk into an exam room with our guard up and our list.
I always come in with my list,
because we have to prove that we are worthy of being believed and worthy of the extra diagnoses and worthy of being cared for correctly, even from other women.
Yes.
Which is awful.
Yes.
But we just need to know that, and we need to arm ourselves. So as soon as a physician is quoting the WHI, I don't really have anything for that one. You should probably find somebody else.
Amen. Yeah, I actually had to say goodbye.
Not reading
my OB/GYN for that exact reason, because she kept harping on me with the testosterone. She's like, that's too dangerous. That's too high. And I'm like, but I trust Kimberly. And what you told me is, how do you feel? You kept saying, well, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel amazing. On the other doctor's plan, I felt like shit. So
I treat to a 5
I'm choosing amazing.
I treat women's testosterone to a 5-point range. It is tight, not super physiologic, not under treating. This is the lane. And it's very specific because that is where we can prove bone density, sex drive, muscle mass, which, by the way, your muscle mass and how that translates to your oxygen carrying capacity in your body, that is the #1 predictor for whether or not you're going to be alive in 10 years.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing stronger for predictive analytics than your muscle mass. And when you don't have testosterone, you don't have any, because you can't. Men and women alike, you cannot build muscle without testosterone. I would like for you to be alive in 10 years. I would think that. I would like that too.
Yes. And if you could keep me in the 35-year-old feeling body, I'm going to keep coming to you.
So these are important things. And this is not me throwing darts at the wall. There is tons and tons of data. So if a medical provider is quoting the Women's Health Initiative, that was bad in 2001 and was retracted 20 years later. And here we are almost 5 years after that retraction, and the publications have said retraction. That person isn't reading. They're not keeping up. And that's dangerous.
So dangerous.
So
and causing so much pain for so many women.
Now, if somebody's cautious and wants to learn more and wants to have a conversation, okay. But if they're quoting a 25-year-old debunked study, that's probably not the provider for you. I can't make people read. And in healthcare, you have to keep reading. When you graduate, you've just started. You didn't finish.
Thank you.
Always, when I take students, I'm on faculty at 2 universities, and I will often have a student with me in their last semester, and I have sent some back.
Oh.
I'm very particular about who can do clinical hours with me.
Okay.
What they have to do to get ready. And I am not an easy clinical placement, as you can probably imagine.
I'm like, that tracks. That tracks.
And the second they say, how much do I have to learn? I'm like, you can go now.
Good. Bye-bye.
To be in healthcare, I liken to being an airline pilot. You're never allowed to crash the plane.
No. Oh, thank you.
And if I'm helping you fly the airplane that is your body, this is not allowed to crash. So I have to know all of it.
Yes.
And all of it isn't what I learned the day I graduated 20 some years ago, to date myself. It's what I learned then, as well as decades of caring for people and their families and decades of reading and researching. And I still don't know enough. And I constantly am excited and learning and want to know more. So if you have a provider that's quoting a 25-year-old debunked study, they have either given up or they don't have time to read. And that's not the person for you.
No.
Yeah.
So you said you had stories plural. Do you have another story to share with us?
So I do. I have another story. And this is, we talked in an earlier episode about what happened to me.
Yes.
And my injury, and I didn't walk for 4 years. And it was a very long, arduous, hard journey. It just made me better. And I used to think it doesn't have to be this hard for me to learn this lesson. I used to ask God, can you just dial that down a little?
A book for me to learn.
Right. And things happen in our lives and you think you have this plan, and then God or fate or whomever you believe in says, hold my beer. And your plan's over here now.
Yes.
Now you're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
In the middle of my injury and learning how to walk 4 times in as many years, I used to think, there's got to be a why. There has to be a why. And sometimes we have the privilege of knowing what the why is, and sometimes we don't. When I used to work in the emergency room, I always had this ritual, because you get very busy in the emergency room because bells and whistles are going off everywhere and people are actively dying. And I would always have this ritual where when I put my hand, it was the doorknob. It was always the doorknob. When I put my hand on the doorknob, I just took 1 second to think, okay, am I the lesson for this patient or are they the lesson for me? Every time.
Oh, how powerful.
And that was just what I needed in that second to just, everything else going down the hall is not for this patient. I need to be present for this person to give them the best that I can give them. And so it was always the doorknob was my ritual. And it's still a doorknob, by the way. I still have that. Every time I go into a room, it's the doorknob when I touch it. And so having that, are they the lesson for me or am I the lesson for them, is just the way I ground myself. And after I had years of the ER and years in internal medicine and geriatrics, and then I had my injury, I was like, there's no doorknob here for me to get the lesson. I was just learning how to walk and it was really hard. And so then I found hormone replacement therapy, fixed my own testosterone, and went, oh, I am in a whole new path and I love this.
Yeah.
And I still hadn't thought about that this was why this had happened to me. One of my first patients, we'll call her Jenny, it's not her name. Jenny walked in and I met her through her husband, who met me through a bunch of mutual friends. And she walked in my clinic room and every hair on the back of my neck stood up.
Oh, because
I knew she was suicidal.
oh, Kimberly.
I just knew it.
Just because he was in so much pain and frustration.
I just knew it.
Yeah.
It was like a smell. It was like you just knew. And her husband was really nervous. And I could tell that he had a sense of it as well.
Yeah.
So she came in, she'd had their 4th child.
Oh, okay.
And after her 4th pregnancy, everything was a disaster. She was a stunningly, and still is, by the way, she's fine. She's a stunningly beautiful woman and had put on 80 pounds.
Ouch.
After her with and after her pregnancy.
That's a lot.
She had a whole pannus, which is where the belly folds over and was resting on her thighs.
Oh gosh.
And her hair was just so, I could see her part from a mile away. It was so, she had almost no hair left. And she just looked endocrinologically awful. And it's called metabolic syndrome X.
Okay.
In healthcare. And they say they're challenging to treat.
Oh, because it sounds like they probably have a lot of things going on.
That's not helpful.
Right.
So I did what I always do, and I get all the labs and I see what's going on. And she was, I don't even know how she had made it to that appointment. And her vitamin D was non-existent. Oh, she was converting 0 T4 to T3. So even though her TSH was normal, her entire thyroid system was broken. She had no iron. She had no free T3. She had no vitamin D. Her testosterone was 0. She was perimenopausal and leaning towards menopause, even though she was very young. She was 40. She was 44.
And plus had these 4 children to take care of. That exhausts a healthy woman. So
yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. Yeah, there's a doctor that I adore, and he always likes to say, there's the children you gave birth to and the one you married.
Oh, I'm going to plead the fifth on that one since we're in shared company. But
it plays well in the big room of educating. We're teaching other providers how to do hormone replacement therapy. So she walks in and red flags are waving in my brain. This one's really a challenge. And so I did all the labs. I started replacing everything that was missing. And she gave me permission to talk to her husband on and offline outside of our care.
Okay.
And so I did call him that night and I said, we need a safety plan. Because here's what's tricky. When someone is suicidal and you start replacing the things that are missing, mood comes back last.
Oh, interesting.
And with mood
oh, darn. I'm like, I was hoping you could just pop some vitamin D and she's going to be happy again.
And
not so much.
With mood comes hope.
Yeah.
You should be very careful not to spend the last of someone's hope tank, because that will empty. And I don't think she had any when she walked in. And so what happens first is organization comes back, motivation comes back, drive comes back, which is scary because she was suicidal and had a plan.
Oh.
And so the ability to enact that plan will come back before the hope that she doesn't need it. And that gap is about 3 weeks, which is a terrifying, it's a terrifying stretch of 21 days,
of course,
on average. And so her husband and I had a long conversation about a safety plan and how to make sure that she was fine. And she was fine. Okay, and I also said, save up because she gets to have a tummy tuck.
Okay.
Because the only way at that point was,
that's extra skin,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that would have had to be. And she got her tummy tuck.
Oh,
she got her mommy makeover. It's surgical at that point. And so, long story long, Jenny was. She's alive. Yeah. She's a mom of 4 beautiful babies. They have since moved away. I adore this family. And it was about 3 or 4 months after she was well that I don't even remember what I was doing. I was in my clinic office and she wasn't even there that day. And all of a sudden I realized I needed to have what happened to me happen so that I could see it in her and be ready to help. Jenny is why that happened to me.
Oh, Kimberly.
I don't even think she knows it. I've never told her. I don't want to, but yeah. Sometimes you just, life steers you where you need to be. And it's just the most lovely family. And I'm really, really blessed to have been able to be in the right place for them.
We will pause for you and for Jenny. That is love. Like, you saved a life. You saved her life.
I think so. I don't know that she would have had anything left in the tank to try another provider if it hadn't worked. I don't know.
And to that point, what I'm hearing for our friends who might be super frustrated right now, like, I want to bring home that the fix is not going to be overnight. Like, none of that.
Everything I do is slow.
That it's going to take time. Wherever you are on your journey, like, don't expect to pop a pill. Don't expect the pellet going in your body to make things better overnight. Like, it takes some time.
It will start to make things better.
Yeah. So
first, when the body is driving itself off a cliff, we have to stop going in that direction before we can then go down the right path. And so I like to say Rome wasn't built in a day.
Amen.
It's a catchphrase that I've borrowed a lot.
Because it's appropriate here.
I say that every day, just about. Yeah. And getting us on the right path, first we have to stop the hemorrhaging. We have to stop the body breaking down underneath us. And we have to build it back up. So many times patients will come in on 20 different medications. And they go, oh, good, I can stop that. No, not yet.
Slow.
I have to bring up the base before I take down the meds. And a lot of times we're going to be swapping an antidepressant for some vitamins and some other supplements or a better thyroid plan. Sometimes I'm swapping one medication for a better medication, like your friend who's swelling with her high blood pressure. Okay, we need a better medication. We need a better plan. She might not ever get off the high blood pressure medication, but we can get her on a better plan. And a lot of times I have women come in with leg swelling after a hysterectomy. Well, they might have iliac vein collapse, which is a part. So the uterus is responsible for blood flow going from the side to side of the pelvic floor. Okay. When you take that out, if there is an undiagnosed venous insufficiency, the legs start to swell.
Oh,
those women are often
painful.
Those women are often put on diuretics.
Yeah.
That's not the solution. Now, I know of 2 different vascular interventional radiologists that know how to diagnose and treat pelvic floor vascular insufficiency. I don't do that either, but I can send someone to the right. So, but understanding that when you take out the uterus, leg swelling is, you just made a new problem. is something gynecologists don't even check for.
Ugh.
So you always have to make sure that what you're treating isn't making another problem. And sometimes what I do creates a new problem. Okay, we got to have a conversation about that. Your body isn't following the plan. Their body isn't following the plan. I always have 3 or 4 other plans.
Of course you do.
I have multiple plans.
Of course you do.
But making sure that there's the ability to have the conversation. This is working. This isn't working. And understanding that it takes about a year for me to tune someone back up. And the benefits from that tune up will peak in the next 3 to 5 years, depending on how aggressive they are about getting it back. I always say, I can't do the sit-ups for you. I can't lift the weights for you, but I can make the weights and the sit-ups and the activities work for you.
Yes.
But you still have to go and do them.
Yes.
But it takes a while. I like to say I'm aging people in reverse.
You totally are.
Yeah.
Like I can't say it enough. I feel like I'm 35 or younger.
So
and
my
I'm
goal is
proud
to
52.
age you in reverse as far back as I can get you, and then
Yes.
hold you there as long as I can. My oldest patient is 89. She's doing awesome. Yeah. Lives independently. She doesn't drive a car anymore.
Okay.
But she's also had a lifetime of being independently wealthy. So I'm not sure how much she ever really drove a car anyway.
There's that.
But she was just about to not be able to live at home anymore. Money doesn't equal functionality. And she had a whole host of specialists that were not able to keep her at home. She carries the walker now, by the way.
This was going to say, so not to get too much into her personal things, but was it mainly testosterone that helped her get that strength back?
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing.
She couldn't dress herself. She couldn't bathe herself. She had lost so much muscle tone that she couldn't take care of herself.
Got it.
So I fixed that. And a couple of other things.
Yeah. I love a good success story.
Yeah. So I always say, give me a year. I go very slowly on the hormones. I go very conservatively on thyroid replacement, the things that we're doing, because I don't want to just blast you with a bunch of things and trade one set of side effects for another. That's not better.
Thank you.
So we get there slowly, thoughtfully. I do a lot of labs, and I always say, give me a year. And my attrition rate for people not moving away is less than 2%. People don't leave.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
No, because all of my friends that go to you, they're like, did Kimberly tell you this? I'm like, yeah. Did she tell you this? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, we don't leave our Kimberly because you keep us.
Or my team.
Good.
I have a really good team.
You have an amazing team.
Yeah, they're great.
Yes. So back to the gaslighting piece as we just start to wrap up. What are some of the common symptoms women in your clinic and or men complaining about when they come to you? And when they finally find you, I should say. Yeah.
So that it's very similar. It's that I feel like something's wrong and they keep telling me my labs are fine. Something is wrong, my labs are fine. Something is wrong, my labs are fine. And then I say, show me your labs. And they show me their labs and I say, where are the rest of them? Because this isn't enough. And I didn't go to magic school. Right? I have to actually measure.
Although to me, what you do is magic because my brain doesn't work this way.
It's all science.
You're the science girl.
And I love it.
I'm the feely feel girl.
It's just how does A get to B and C, and there's other factors, and how does the tree branch? And it's just seeing things in 3 dimensions instead of just black and white and unidirectional and blinders. And you are more than your left kidney.
Yes.
You are more than your gorgeous brain. You are more than just, there are the parts and then there's the sum total and how they all go together. And if you don't look at all of them at the same time, I think you should not be in healthcare.
Thank you. I agree.
Yes. So we
and
talked about
sending people to the people that do know what they're doing.
It's like I said, it's like being an airline pilot. You're never allowed to crash the plane. You have to know all of the things. So one of the common threads is my labs are fine, but I don't feel good. And so if you keep going to doctors or nurse practitioners or PAs and you say, I don't feel good. I Google my symptoms and I think it's my thyroid. I think it's my hormones. And they say, yeah, but I checked and you're fine. Maybe it's time to go to a functional medicine certified practice, a BioT, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy certified practice. There are multiple certifications for bioidentical HRT that are out there. I'm partial to the BioT certification, probably my own bias because I teach that platform.
Absolutely.
So there's some bias for you. Not to say the other ones aren't just as good. I just know the collective brains and the data that went into the BioT one is one that meets my standards. And they are rigorous. So I'm biased to that one. So someone who has a bioidentical hormone replacement therapy certification of some point, or that practice does, that would be a good place to start. So finding someone with an HRT certification is really important. And then here's the other interesting piece. When it comes to labs and lab interpretation, there is the lab name and then off to the side a range.
Okay.
And everybody thinks, aha, that's the range. And if I'm in that range, I'm good.
And that's what we've all been trained to look at.
That's what providers have been trained to look at.
Yes.
That's not true.
Oh.
The range is what's expected. I expect that you will fall into this range. If you are a 60-year-old female, I expect you to have a testosterone of 0.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh, that breaks my heart.
So anything above that is going to be flagged as unexpected or high or abnormal. So just because the lab says you're fine doesn't mean you're fine. And just because the lab says you're out of range doesn't mean that's a problem. When providers check their brain at the door and let Quest tell them how, or LabCorp tell them how to diagnose, treat their patients, they should stop being a provider.
Yeah.
You need your brain every time.
Yes.
And you have to think, I don't want to test like a 60-year-old woman. And by the way, in Denver, LabCorp, to validate their tests, you have to validate against other tests.
Okay.
So every so often, a lab service has to go through validation.
Okay.
And so they validate against another collection of labs. Are my machines getting the same results as your machines?
Oh, okay.
And this is how labs recertify.
Okay.
So LabCorp in the Denver area certifies at Denver Health.
Oh.
So now your range is based on a hospitalized woman of your age.
Oh, and if you're in the hospital,
why are you
you're likely sick from other things as well. Yeah. Oh, so interesting.
I don't want to test like a 60-year-old hospitalized woman when I hit 60. No, thank you.
No.
I want to test like a 30 to 35-year-old version of myself.
Yes.
And so those test results might not be the range that your provider should be using. So I have a collection of ranges that are based on what is a healthy 30-year-old level. What's a healthy adult level? In fact, most of my ranges come from European data sets that are pre-COVID. Because a lot of people are sicker since COVID. They're sicker because of COVID itself, or they're sicker because of changes that they made in and around and then after the pandemic. We stopped going to the gym. Maybe we didn't go back. We stopped watching our alcohol consumption. Maybe we didn't go back to being more careful. So there's lots of behavioral things that changed around the pandemic that may or may not be healthy for us. And so a lot of what I use is before then. So just know that my doctor checked my labs and they said, look, it's fine. That means nothing to me.
Good.
What was the lab? Who are you? What are your goals? Do you want to have muscles and be alive in 10 years? We'll probably need to get some testosterone into you if it's 0. So a lot of times my patients will go to their primary care provider and they get flagged for having too high of testosterone.
Happened to me.
And it is in my 5-point range. It's a very tight range. And they're exactly right. And they feel great and they have muscle tone and no side effects.
Yep.
So it's not a problem.
Exactly. Like I'm very happy in my body.
Yeah. And let me tell you, my 89-year-old, she doesn't test like an 89-year-old.
Of course not.
And she doesn't want to, because she was testing like an 89-year-old and was about to go into some sort of assisted living. That's a problem. She's at home.
You gave her life back.
So
Kimberly.
Just that little piece of the labs, it's important. So find someone who will listen. Make sure you have a list when you go in. If they won't listen, there are some choices. Do I stay? Do I go? Just like your primary care provider isn't going to do your colonoscopy. That's for the gastroenterologist. Or a functional medicine practice or a certified hormone practice, I'm happy to do your hormone piece, and you can still keep a relationship with your primary care provider. If your primary care provider is quoting defunct studies from 25 years ago, I'm curious as to what else they haven't been keeping up on, and that could be a problem. But if it's just I don't know how to do hormones, I don't want to manage that because I'm not an expert in that, not a problem. I can do that, and you can keep your relationship. It's great. Absolutely. And there's lots of practices like mine throughout the United States that have HRT certifications, and we are happy to be your hormone specialist. We don't have to do all the functional medicine pieces. We could just do the hormones, and you can keep that relationship. Yeah.
Well, we've been ending with homework and what to do, but I think that was a mic drop right now. I think we all know our homework, right? We are going to look at our labs, and if we're getting these doctors who are gaslighting us, as I put in air quotes, we're going to ask for a second opinion, third opinion if we have to. We're going to keep asking until we get the answers because we trust our bodies, we trust our intuition, we know ourselves. And if we're not feeling good, we're not feeling good.
That's right.
As Kimberly says. And
so often providers will reach out to me because they're curious about the labs that I got and they're curious about what the difference is. And they wind up being in my certification class, which is great because I can't see everybody. So the more providers that are excited about helping people age well and live in bodies that work, the better. So the goal isn't to jettison these people and say, oh, they're no good because they haven't read. If they're curious and they want to get better, I love that. So we can keep all these relationships and we can keep this team of providers helping everybody.
So we have our homework cut out for us. I want you all to come back next week because clearly the two of us feel great in our bodies. Guess who else feels great in their bodies? Our husbands, and they're coming to talk to us next week. And so I'm excited to have that conversation. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
No, just trust your gut.
Yes.
Women have great intuition. That's what we know, that when the kids are quiet, we know something's wrong. We just know. So we have great intuition there. So listen to that. And if something is wrong, it's because it's wrong. And if it doesn't make sense, it's because it doesn't make sense. You need more information. You need more providers on your team. You need more healthcare. You need better. You need more. And that's okay. So if you think something is wrong, don't give up. Get some more information. Get somebody else on your team. You deserve it.
Don't give up.
You deserve it.
Absolutely. Thank you once again. This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Nourish with Michelle Fox. Were you driving, folding laundry, or maybe walking around the neighborhood? Perfect. I've got you covered with show notes over at michellefox.com/podcast. When you're ready, you will also find resources to support what you've learned in today's conversation, plus a few health-supportive freebies waiting just for you. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world if you left a review on whichever podcast platform you're currently listening from. Your support helps me continue my mission of building healthier communities. This 8-part series is my effort to help more women stop suffering in silence and start feeling strong, confident, and seen. I am grateful to be on this journey with you. Big love.